Welcome back, YouTubers, to the British Fist Wrestling Rundown here on this Friday, where me and NJ here, we look at topics throughout the week in both WWE and TNA and discuss them at length. The stuff that we didn't discuss in our reviews and videos, we generally just leave it all to here. Kind of like chucking all the garbage in the garbage bin at the end of the week.
Because some points here are good, some are bad, some are sad.
Some are very sad indeed, especially the one we're going to talk about in the later part of this video. Subscribe down below if you want to see more from us. Comment your thoughts on the 7 topics that we're going to talk about down in the comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
We are the British Fist. I'm Mr. Parkin, and as a lasting image to you guys before we go on to this video, this guy sitting next to me is the one and only NJ.
What's up?
And the first topic we're going to be discussing is WWE's new June pay-per-view. So replacing June's WWE pay-per-view, No Way Out, is going to be a pay-per-view called, get this NJ, Payback. What do you think of this new pay-per-view that WWE? I mean, we haven't seen much of it. We don't really know what it's about, but the name itself, what do you think of this name?
Well, the ring to it makes me feel what they should name Extreme Rules to, or Backlash, because it's payback to what happened at Mania, get revenge, because that's what they normally do on the Backlash or Extreme Rules. They get follow-up of WrestleMania.
I'll say this, June, you could have had King of the Ring. I think there was a poll on NoDQ.com. I think 98% of people would prefer King of the Ring to the Payback name. And just to me, when I saw it, I was like, man, is this a bland pay-per-view name? There's nothing really, it doesn't sound like Armageddon or, Rebellion or pay-per-views like that. It's just Payback.
At least it's not a gimmick pay-per-view.
Yes.
I think they've got enough gimmicks to last a lifetime there.
I mean, was No Way Out a gimmick pay-per-view?
Not really.
Oh, well, there you go. But Payback, yeah, give us your thoughts on the new pay-per-view name, Payback. For a couple of weeks or so, it looks like they weren't going to do too much with Miz and Ric Flair, but we saw last week on Raw that Miz and Flair are kind of back together as a team, and I'd like to know your thoughts, NJ, on Flair being Miz's manager. Do you think Flair is the right person for Miz? Do you think these two interact well together? Because I must admit, I do find myself being very entertained by the work these two do in and outside of the ring.
Well, with Ric Flair, I see him being more of a heel manager because of his past things he's done. So he's starting with the face, Miz. They are good together, as you've seen in their promo stuff, but I feel that Ric Flair could have been the manager of a heel and gone back to his being a heel manager to a good heel future wrestler.
I really felt that Flair would have been a good manager for Dolph Ziggler, personally. Would have been able to at least give him some name recognition. Dolph Ziggler, he is Ric Flair's manager. He's Ric Flair's guy. But at the same time, if WWE are trying to push Miz as this new babyface, especially now he's in that movie Marine 3, which they're going to promote the fuck out of soon, having Ric Flair as his manager is not really a bad idea, especially as they're both pretty good in the promo department. And it kind of seems like they're using Flair to they're passing Flair's torch on to Miz. And he's not like the best talent for it, but at least they're trying to push like a mid-carder, so to speak, a mid-card babyface a little bit with this guy.
As long as Ric Flair helps Miz get back up as a main eventer, I think that would be justice. If it's just a mid-cardy stuff, I really don't think it's going to be the best thing for it. With me and my thoughts on Ric Flair, they're a bit and bit okay, but I still feel that if Ric Flair does Miz justice, then I guess I'll be more okay with it in the end.
So give us your thoughts on Flair being Miz's manager, perhaps for the foreseeable future. So this Monday night was the first that I saw of the Fandango character. You gotta feel those words, NJ. Must admit though, that dancer he came up with was pretty fucking hot. What did you think what's your initial thoughts on the Fandango character and where WWE could go with Johnny Curtis, good old boy?
2 things. Number 1, you stole the words out of my mouth. The diva or the woman he was with was better than him. And number 2 is that, yes, a thinner version of Brodus Clay.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the first time we've seen a Fandango, and they're kind of doing it in a similar way to Damien Sandow, where he's finding excuses not to actually appear, which is fine and good. You want to try and sort of build up to his appearance as if it is a big deal. The stuff he did with Justin Roberts on Monday, I thought was very entertaining. What they're going to do with this Fandango character, probably should have debuted him after WrestleMania, really, when they generally debut the new talent, but it's a dancing gimmick. I'm interested to see where they go with it, just because it's kind of, not necessarily unique, but it's kind of like a dirty dancing kind of gimmick.
Number 1, dancing gimmicks don't seem to go anywhere since Rikishi back then. And the second thing is, I don't really see a future in him, especially if he didn't work the first time.
You could have some interesting feuds with him, though. You could have him maybe feud against Brodus Clay or something like that, like two dancers going out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just putting an idea out there, but at least it is some way of getting Johnny Curtis, a kind of younger guy, on TV with a kind of unique gimmick and kind of putting him out there in a way which people will definitely notice.
For a few months.
Do you remember that Q&A we did, NJ, when we were talking about Dream WrestleMania matches, and one of them was Team Rhodes Scholars versus the New Age Outlaws? Book it indeed, because, well, apparently this match is going to happen on Raw, and after seeing the New Age Outlaws on the old school Raw, I'm really interested to actually see this match.
I want to say book it, but at the same time, I wish I didn't, because number one, Rhodes Scholars have lost every single week. They lost their chance to win the tag championships. So for them to go up against a tag team who should put them over, I don't want to see it, because putting a loser tag team over, it's not going to do them justice.
I'm still unsure as to why they broke up the Rhodes Scholars when they could have a much better direction for them as a tag team rather than just enhancement talent as singles guys. But the New Age Outlaws, I really loved seeing them on the old school. There was a big highlight of the old school Raw, which was pretty pathetic for me. But the Rhodes Scholars versus New Age Outlaws, I'm down with that.
Of all the tag teams that you could put up against New Age Outlaws, there's not many tag teams, but one that should be pushed to the future is Team Rhodes Scholars.
And do you reckon they might have this match at WrestleMania, or do you think this is just going to be a one-off Raw match?
I want to say Mania, but at this moment in time, Rhodes Scholars haven't really deserved to have a Mania match.
No, they really haven't. So I feel it'll just be a one-off Raw match just for the entertainment, even though I feel they could have built this up to a WrestleMania match if they could. On both Raw and SmackDown, they actually did a little bit of teaser for Ryback's opponent for WrestleMania, and that's none other than Mark Henry. I think for Ryback, this is a very, very good opponent. You'll have a monster babyface in Ryback, who hasn't had a win on pay-per-view since Money in the Bank, against Mark Henry, who we know is a pretty strong, dominant heel.
And the fact they're going to keep Ryback up against big names, big wrestlers like from Punk and other members, they're keeping him up against Mark Henry, an ex-World champion.
Yeah.
I feel that's going to be great for Ryback and great for Henry, and it's a Mania match, so it's all about good stuff there.
Let's face it, WWE really needs to build up the babyface stars, and their top priority right now, other than obviously John Cena, has to be Ryback, in the sense that he's going to be the next big babyface for the company. And this match, he really also needs a freaking pay-per-view win. Like I said, he hasn't had a pay-per-view win since July last year, which is just ridiculous if you're trying to build up this guy as a monster babyface who we're supposed to believe is unstoppable.
And the good thing about this WrestleMania match would be it's not going to be a short match, because Mark Henry won't settle for a short match against a guy like Ryback. So I think this match is going to be a long match for Ryback, a big match for Ryback, and Mark Henry, he's making it to WrestleMania.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how they build this up. You've got this big monster Ryback who's apparently unstoppable versus an unstoppable Mark Henry who, that's what he does! So while we were watching TNA Impact yesterday on Thursday, more than people were tweeting about the show, there were so many people tweeting about El Generico and the fact that he's been unmasked in NXT. And I really can't believe how much fuss there is over this, because so what? Maybe he wanted to be unmasked. I can understand why a lot of people would be upset in the sense that he spent most of his career on the independent scene being unmasked. But, come on. If the guy wants to make it mainstream, maybe he has to take his mask off. Maybe he has to do something a little bit different. I don't get why people are making such a big deal out of him losing his mask.
Well, the big thing about masks, from what I've learned from past wrestlers, is the mask represents something to them. Like Rey Mysterio, Kane not so much, but Rey Mysterio, he does not remove his mask for personal reasons. Maybe it's the same with El Generico. When you think of El Generico, you think of his mask, you think of his attire. But if they were to remove the mask, I would have at least waited until he made it to the roster, gone through a mask versus something, and actually had it removed then, so they could have still had El Generico with the mask.
I think also what we need to take into consideration here is he only used his I think he debuted with his mask in a dark match or something on NXT. But I believe it's only for one match on the NXT taping, and they may not even use that taping. So it just annoys me how fans get their knickers in such a twist over something so small, especially when you don't know, maybe El Generico wanted to do this to change his character a little bit more. Let's just see where this goes first before we start bashing it, guys.
And welcome to the WWE El Generico.
Ole, 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 ole. Ole! Ole! So on March the 5th, the news came through to us that Paul Bearer, aka William Moody, had passed away, and it's a very sad time, especially in a time where wrestlers dying. It's just a freaking terrible thing, man.
Because when it comes to names, Paul Bearer, another big name in the wrestling world, WWF, and the fact that he had big sides with The Undertaker, Kane, and the fact he had one last run not so long ago, and then this news hit us. And the amount of people that have showed respect, fans and people in the wrestling world, very respectful, and it's just a real sad shock it's happened.
Yeah, and they even acknowledged this on TNA as well, so very classy there by Bruce Pritchard. A lot of people on YouTube have done videos on it too, so it's very good to see a legend in the business essentially being respected so much throughout the YWC. Do you think they maybe could induct him into the Hall of Fame this year, WWE, or do you think they should probably wait till next year now?
I feel that Paul Bearer's death and the fact that he's done this, I think it should wait till next year because they've got a big enough cast now, give enough time to build up a good person to do it for Paul Bearer. Yeah. But I'm just going to say rest in peace, Paul Bearer, because you're a guy that, yes, you've been sick for a long time and this is caught up on you now, but it's still really sad and shocked to read.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, whenever we see news like this, it's just like, damn, another wrestling personality has died. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? Last year we had Macho Man Randy Savage, or in 2011, now we have Paul Bearer. It's just really unfortunate, and our condolences go to Moody's family as well, and his friends, especially in the wrestling business. So, R.I.P. Rest in peace, Paul Bearer. You have our respects, of course.
And from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, hope you enjoyed this video. Please share your thoughts on each topic in the comment section below. Until next time, YouTubers, goodbye.